Right, let's unbox then the Moto G8 Power. Now you can get this for less than £200. The prices tend to vary depending on where you get it from. You can get it on contract with Vodafone, you can get it from Argos. The big key feature about this is the up to 3 days of battery life, which is a big requirement for a lot of people who don't want to keep on charging it. I know we've got wireless charging now, we've got battery management now, but a lot of people just want a phone that will just stay charged for longer. So you got dual stereo speakers tuned by Dolby and an AI powered quad camera system. So let's have a look. This is truly the first time I have unboxed this. I haven't gone into it. Now I'm going to imagine that this is going to be quite thick, because anything with a long battery life usually has got a big battery, 5,000 milliamp hours, and it's quite thick. Indeed, it's already got a case on, so let's take the case off. It's probably not going to be quite as thick as it looks with the case on. And to be honest, that's not too bad. It does feel a little tiny bit plasticky, but for the price you kind of expect that. It is well built though. This is obviously the black one. 4 gig of onboard storage of memory on here, and 64 gig of onboard storage. So that 5,000 milliamp hour battery has got 15 watts turbo power. There's an 18 watt charger in this box here on the left. I'm just going to see if it's got any charge in it whatsoever at the minute. That's just full of manuals and warranty cards, and this is the 18 watt charger here. So let's go. Oh, and we've got the Hello Moto, she's just talking to me, so we can set that up there. What else have we got specs wise on this phone? We've got a 64 gig of onboard storage, as I've mentioned. We've got the USB-C charging port there on the bottom, with the external speaker and a microphone. On the right hand side we've got the power button to wake it. We've got the volume up and down, and then on the top, look, an actual 3.5mm socket, audio socket there, and an additional microphone for noise cancellation. The left side is relatively bare apart from the micro SD and SIM card tray slot, and that you can put a micro SD card up to 512 gig on there. You've got Wi-Fi, you've got GPS, you've got all the other usual bits and bobs. There's a rear mounted fingerprint sensor, which is just on that M logo there, you can see, which is quite nice, so you can push that. There's a camera arrangement on the back. Now the cameras on here, let me get the specs. We've got a 16 megapixel main shooter here in the top left as you're looking at it. We've got a 2 megapixel macro lens. We've got an 8 megapixel ultra wide lens for taking those lovely scenic shots, and we've got another 8 megapixel telephoto lens if you want to zoom in slightly. On the front there's an in-display camera here, which you may be able to see, which is a 16 megapixel shooter. So that's the camera lenses on there. They're quite nice arrangement. It is actually aluminium, although I did say it felt a bit plasticky, but the body's actually aluminium, and it's got a water repellent design. It weighs 197 grams, and it's 9.63 millimeters thick, which is where that obviously I mentioned, because it's got a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, it's slightly thicker. The screen here is a 6.4 inch, as they call it, a max vision display. It's not curved at the edges. It does come relatively close to the edges of the chassis on this one. It's a 2300 pixel by 1080p pixel, almost 400 dots per inch, pixels per inch should I say, and it's a 19:9 aspect ratio. So I'm just going to get into the setup. I'm just going to pause this, so I'll just go through the boring setup process. Now, one thing I will note here, I'm just going through the setup process. It hasn't, I usually have 2 Wi-Fi access points. One has got 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz. The other one is just purely 5 gigahertz only. It hasn't picked up the second one, which says to me that this only does single band 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi. So if you do really want that 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi and that ultra fast Wi-Fi connection, this particular phone won't do that. Okay, we've gone through most of the main setup screens on here. By the way, I should mention Curry's Car Phone Warehouse and Very. This is actually going for £219. You can get it for around about that amount. I've just basically logged in with my Gmail account here, so I can set a screen lock or I can skip that. This button, numeric keypad at the bottom, and the on-screen keyboard is very good. It's very googly at the minute. Google Assistant is on there. You can get that to use your voice, so you can get tasks done with the G8 Power. We've got some Motorola bits here, exclusive. So I don't know whether we can skip this. Yes, we can. Carrier location access. So there's a gesture navigation system which we've seen on other phones. Basically, it tells you how to navigate around. So you can swipe up, you can swipe from the sides, and you do various things instead of having this bottom at the bottom here. But we've got a system update available, but this just shows you how it works. So I can sweep up from the top, from the bottom. If I get my teeth in today, it'd be great. Sweep up from the bottom, and obviously you can see it does that. You can sweep from the sides and brings that over there. What else? I think there's a bring up and hold. It does certain things, but it guides you around. So you can see here, home is up, which we just did. Recent apps. Hello, Moto. Recent, that's a notification. So we can swipe up like that, and then we can scroll around like that. So she's giving me loads of various notifications here. So let's go back to the main screen and see what some of these notifications are. So there's a new system update available, which is going to be pulled down over the Wi-Fi now. February the 1st. So I'm going to download that. You can see here the main screen looks fairly good. The screen quality is very nice, by the way. I'll press Moto and see what's in there. Welcome to Moto. See what Moto can do. So there's gestures and touch interactions, tips, a display, game time, so you can enhance your gaming on there. Let's see what else we've got. So it's a good way of learning about your new phone by the looks of it, that. So I'm going to go back to the home screen. Oh, here you go. Here's the app tray. I've got the usual suspects in here. YouTube, all the Google stuff is there. Google Home, Gmail, Maps, Store, Photos. We've got something called Moto Audio, which I think is a Dolby. There you go. So the Dolby is going to be integrated here into there. So this is where it's tuned. So Smart Audio identifies the content and performs automatic adjustments to deliver the best sound. But you can also choose music, film, game, or custom. Let's have a look at custom, and you can look at that. You get a nice graphic equalizer. You can do a bass boost. You can do a manual, so you can increase the bottom end of the bass and the treble, increase that up there. So that's pretty cool to make it sound. But as you heard there, the sound is nice and loud, so that's good. It's updating the applications now. Let's see what else we've got on this particular phone, shall we? Okay, so we've got Duo, all the Google stuff. Swipe to the right, we've got Google Pay. Not a great deal else on here. Got podcasts and stuff. So you can see it's a fairly unspoilt Google version. You've got Google One here. So there's not a great deal of bloatware on there, apart from that Moto stuff, which just seems to be hints and tips on how to use your phone, which is quite cool. The CPU on here, it's not going to be the fastest, but it will definitely see you through. Let's go into System, and then Advanced. Where is it now? Oh yeah, so that's still doing that. Background installation. About the phone, that's what we want. So there's the G8 Power, hardware information. So there's the bits that I mentioned about the camera, etc. But yeah, the actual CPU behind this is a 2 GHz Qualcomm Snapdragon 665. It's got an Adreno 610 graphics GPU. So yeah, it's a very nice looking phone, I must admit. It works well, and a 3-day battery life, really. you can't complain too much that it's slightly thicker than normal. Obviously with the case on, it's going to get even thicker. The case comes, as you saw, it was already on in the box, so definitely advisable to keep that on. It fits the phone perfectly. It's one of these flexible phone cases. And that, my friends, is a bit of an overlook, or overview should I say, of the Moto G8 Power.